Hey y'all, it's your girl Crystal Lorenze back with another Weavejunky video, and today we'll be doing a quick weave side part bob. Okay, so I didn't really have to blow dry her hair or anything because, you know, it's kind of blow dried out really good, and it's a protective style, so everything's going in. It doesn't really need to be blow dried unless, like, you know, that client's hair was really, you know, curly, dense, and I would have to like stretch out the roots and stuff, just so, you know, we can get those braids flat and so that every part doesn't hurt. But I'm just gonna protect her hair with my Fantasia heat protector because we will be using a lot of heat to just, you know, glue the tracks on the cap. So I want to protect her hair as much as possible. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and start parting. I asked her what she wanted her part. She told me on the left side, and she wanted it semi-deep. So I'm just gonna go ahead and basically part around where she pointed at. And then from there, I just, you know, make sure it's clean, make sure I don't leave too much hair out, but also make sure I don't leave too little out as well. And, you know, someone wants their parts deep, you kind of have to have it a little bit curved. So I don't know if you guys can kind of see it, but it's not going straight back. It's kind of like a curve to the middle of her head a little bit, if y'all can see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave out some side part. You know, I always try to make sure my client is okay with how much I'm leaving out. So I will eventually turn her around and show her or give her the mirror so she could see. But yeah, so I do different braiding techniques, like I said, based on the client's head, their hair texture, just a bunch of different factors. And sometimes I'm just creative, I just make things up. So we're gonna go ahead and do what I like to call the connective braiding pattern. That's where I make like a braid stitch down by her neck, like one going across, and then every other braid goes straight from where the part is, the top part where I put the leave out, I braid it down and I connect the end of it. So if that does not make sense, y'all will be able to see kind of what I mean and how I, you know, did her hair particularly. So as you see, I kind of isolated the back. I don't know why I did that extra part like down by her ear, but I guess I was just kind of trying to just measure everything out, which is fine to do as well, because the last thing you want to do is start braiding and realize you didn't really, you know, measure things out correctly and have to start all over. So as y'all can see, I'm at the bottom of her neck, and I like to do that one braid because it's too much tension, one, to try to braid all those cornrows to someone's neck, and then for two, it's just a little bit more, you'll see how I do it. It just keeps it a little bit more clean and flat, so that braid goes across, and then you give room for the connecting part to kind of lay above that cornrow that you did on the bottom of her neck, instead of everything trying to squish. The bottom of your neck is smaller than the rest of your head, so if you try to squish all that hair and braids to the neck, it's gonna be lumpy, it's not gonna lay flat, and I just think it's too much tension on the hair. So those are my main two reasons for not just, you know, braiding it that way. I always make sure I have one braid that's on the neck and then the rest can connect. So because that line of hair I'm about to braid is a little fine, and, you know, I don't want to create too much tension, so I'm going to add some braiding hair. I think I added braiding hair all over because she kind of had fine hair, but the braiding hair just really helps. It gives like extra support to the braids So therefore, I don't have to put too much tension on the pieces that aren't as long as they should be. And just over time, you know, when you braid your hair, it gets loose if you don't have a real grip to it. So just to keep the longevity, I don't know how long she's keeping it in. This was just like a model trial just for this video, but she kept the hair in. I don't know if she's keeping it for her birthday, which I know is coming up. We both are Aquariuses, by the way. And yeah, so anyway, as y'all can see, I just braided it across. And I'm going to connect that piece as well to that last braid that I'm going to make. So, like I said, you know, you want to make sure that the leave out you're going to leave out is going to cover that braid as much as possible. But you also, like I said, don't want to leave too much out. So I'm going to go ahead and cornrow that braid. I don't think I added any weave to that because I think her hair was a little stronger, you know, in the middle. I'm gonna braid the second one, and I'm gonna go ahead. You don't want to wait till you braided it fully. You want to kind of, because her hair is long, so every time you're connecting, it really depends on how long that client's hair is, and that will determine where you actually should start connecting it. As you see, her hair is long, so I braided it in, and you can actually start from the very beginning, but just so you can make sure your braid's secure, I like to braid a little bit, then connect it, so I can make sure the actual braid itself is not dependent on the connected braid, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect it now, and as you see, I just continue the cornrows, and I will do that for the rest of the cornrows. And this just helps to make it as flat as possible. As you can see, that connected braid is in between the two braids, and that's what helps keep it flat. So I will continue to do that. Some people, you know, braid all the way, all the braids down, and then try to sew them all in. That doesn't even really make sense to me when you could just really connect them, but you know, preference. And as y'all saw, I put a clip at the end of the braid just to make sure that it's not unraveling while I'm prepping the next braid. So I'm going to continue to just do that throughout the whole foundation. And yeah, y'all go just watch. Alright, y'all, so now that I'm done, I'm going to take that last braid and I am going to sew it in between my neck braid and the connecting braids. And And y'all, this is how we achieve that flat, you know. And I'm so sorry, y'all, that I am in the way of this, but I hope y'all can get the point of what I'm trying to do. And we have our friend Jill in the back. But yeah, so this is, you know, this is the finished product of the foundation braids. Y'all, look at me. That dress, y'all. I was dressed for my podcast. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to go ahead and oil her hair with my ORS coconut oil. It has a lot of vitamins in it. It keeps your hair from not itching as much and just keeps it oiled till you're ready to take it out. Alright, y'all, so I used a wig cap. I used 2 in the color black. And y'all, I did not have my Robert's Diamond Bond, the protective shield. I had ran out of that. I've been doing hair all week. So that's my go-to usually. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and protect her hair with Design and Hold Spritz Super Hold, which is, you know, I'm not going to say the same thing, but does pretty much the same thing. And I'm going to go back in and hit it with my heat protector just so we can really make sure that I'm not adding too much heat. I'm not creating any heat damage. I'm going to pretty much not soak it, but really spray a lot on the braids so that we can make sure that glue does not get stuck on her hair. And yes, but I have restocked on my protective shield, so, and I stocked up like 4 bottles, the big ones, just so that, you know, I don't have to run out anytime soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and seal that thread. I tried to put 2 of them on at the same time, and that did not work clearly. So I went ahead and did 1 at a time. You want to make sure it's really on her head tight. There's really no space in between. And y'all, this is how I secure it. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew down the perimeters all around, and I'm going to braid it on that neck braid all the way to the other side of the first braid. And this just helps to secure it. You don't want to cut off the cap and then, you know, it's slipping back. So I'm going to go ahead and sew all around the perimeters until I get back to where I started. So basically making that U shape. And y'all, I should have, you know, pulled that more as you see, but I ended up sewing it on there, which is something you can do if you just forget to, you know, make sure there's no extra loose cap on the head, because you want to glue, you want that thing to be flat, okay, if nothing else. So I'm gonna go ahead and you know, just add some thread right there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and spray some more Got To Be glue on the cap. I blow dry it just to make sure that it is, you know, set and ready to go. So I am using the premium purple pack hair in the 10-inch Yaki. So we have 2 packs of this, and y'all, this hair, it still is my go-to, but I used to use it way much more back in the day before I feel like they finessed the hair. And when I mean finessed, I just mean the quality of the hair. Just back in the day, it just used to be better quality, but it is still one of the better, you know, store-bought hair that you can buy, the purple pack. But okay, y'all, so as y'all can see, I am cutting around the first cap, and that's just to release some of the tension so that when I cut the second one, it just doesn't snap back, and that the glue is accurate as far as the tension. It's really kind of hard to explain, but you know, once I cut that first cap off, there was a certain amount of tension that was released, and that's good so that when I am laying the glue and the tracks on there, it's not you know, messed up by me cutting both the caps after I'm done gluing, and whoever does hair can understand that. So yeah, I'm gonna go in with my super hair bond glue, which dries in about 30 seconds or less, especially because I'm using a blow dryer. Okay, so as y'all saw, I measured the first track that I will be placing, and it's going to be a little curved, which I'm about to show you guys in a little bit. It's supposed to be curved. You don't want it going straight across because it's just not going to come out right the way it's supposed to. You kind of want it to look as natural as possible. So we're gonna curve it as much, but as I move up towards the top of the braids, closest to the leave out, you're gonna notice that I will have to, you know, just be strategic where I'm placing it because it is a side part, so it's not technically even throughout. You're not just gonna glue the way I'm gluing right now from the left side to the right side the whole time without having to, you know, cut and really measure out how you want it to look or lay, because it is a side part. One side is going to be more, you know, thicker than the other. So the right side will be thicker, the left side is going to be it's not that it's going to be thicker, it's just going to be, it is thicker, it is, because I will be placing more hair on the right side, but you know, when the way I'm going to lay it out, you won't really tell. So that's why you really have to be strategic where you're placing it. Once you get to like the middle, you have to start cutting it differently. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue the rest of the tracks on until I get to the middle and just let you guys watch. But just peep how I am kind of curving more towards the, you know, the ends of the tracks. And you want to make sure that you are blow drying after you place each track. Okay, if you're a professional, you know, you probably could do it after every 2. But if you're just learning or beginning, I would say definitely blow dry after each track, because if not, it will slip. It's not dry yet, and you don't want to be placing the next one on top. It can get real messy. So I'm just going to let you guys kind of watch how I do it. And if I see something I should point out, I will. Okay, there's something I wanted to point out which may not make as much sense to some people, but this track that I'm about to glue, I made it a little bit shorter because I wanted to utilize as much space on the left side. As I remind you guys, the right side, it has more space to be, you know, for hair to be glued versus the left side, because that's where the side part is. So I'm going to make sure that I'm utilizing as much space as possible. So instead of using up all the space by bringing the hair to the left side, I'm going to have it right before it, so that the line above that, the track above that, can be placed, you know, where I can maximize as much space. So this is just me showing you guys that we are on the second pack. So everything that was glued in was just pack 1. And that just shows that you only need about 2 packs for this hairstyle. I think, if I'm not mistaken, each pack at the beauty supply store is roughly around $30 to $40. So, you know, that's not too crazy. Okay, now we're getting close to the finish line, and I wanted to kind of explain what I was breaking down earlier as far as being strategic where you're placing it. More than likely you'll have to cut once you get to this top, because as you guys can see, it's a U-shaped part. I want it to lay correctly. I want it to curve correctly, so I will cut some, but this next layer you'll notice that I'm measuring it to go all the way around. And the reason why I did that is because that means under it is the reason why it is thick still on the left side, because if I could just continue to, you know, glue without cutting, it would be so thin and it just wouldn't look right. So this is kind of how you even the hair out, and you know, I think I ended up cutting it, I see. So you can just literally do what you need to do for your client and for the look that you're going for. If you have to cut it, cut it. Yeah, and make sure you're blow drying in between each. And measuring is very much important. Measuring it is important before you start gluing. And one thing I definitely am doing is making sure I'm stacking it. I want this top part to be very full. I don't really make it as full in the middle, because at the end of the day, the top hair falls, you know, and I'm going to cut the back anyway into a bob. So my main concern is for the top to look full. I want her actual hair to blend. Alright y'all, so for now we're done gluing. I'll see if I have to glue any more once I start to style her leave out and see if there's full coverage. But right now I'm going to go ahead and cut that second cap off. I'm going to go and start from the track area so I can loosen up the tension there first. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut the actual cap. And please be mindful of your client's hair. But I'm going to go ahead and cut around all the perimeters and get all that cap out of there. Alright y'all, so I'm not going to hold you guys. I should have used a clipper. I don't have my old clipper. I think I gave it to a friend or something. I don't know. I haven't used it in so long. But I'm going to go ahead and do what I do, my stubborn self, and I'm going to go ahead and manually hand cut. Now, there's two different ways you can possibly do, well, three. Third way is the way I'm doing it, but the first way is using a clipper if you know, are experienced with using that. Or you can just do it like row by row. So basically, you know, start from the first row and just cut, then get the second row cut and just layer it that way. But I went ahead and did this, and let me tell y'all, I was just going through so much that day as far as just everything I had to get done, and this would have been a perfect method if I was leaving it straight, but I forgot that I was bumping it. And once I started bumping it, I had to, yeah, I had to really just go in and do the damn thing, because once I started bumping it, I realized that that's where the unevenness would really show. And I really did have to finesse the Weavejunky way, but look, we did it. So I'm gonna just let you guys watch, and you know, if I see anything that y'all should know, I'm going to tap back in. Alright, so as y'all can see, I'm just styling it and finessing it. But here I'm using my Hot Tools flat iron to bump, and I am going back in to fix some of the mistakes, but it ends up looking really good though at the end. So I'm gonna just let you guys just go ahead and watch. Alright, y'all, so this is pretty much the finished product. I did go back in and even it out some more, but yes, it's definitely looking cute. It's giving bob. You can't even tell that I really finessed it. And yeah, I hope you guys like this look. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, ask me questions, and tune in for the next look.